Sarper and Shekinah were in a fight while filming on 90 Day Fiancé Terror episode. A little caption: in the beginning of our marriage, it seemed like it was one rough patch after another, Shekinah said on Radio Andy. There's always an issue going on with these two, isn't there? Why can't their relationship just be simple? Always problematic. Always brings the question, why did you get married? To be fair, the couples that usually are the most successful couples are the ones that we don't ever see again on the show. Just to put that out there. Now, it does begin here by saying, on a new episode with Radio Andy's Reality Checked, hosted by Melody and Monique, 90 Day Fiancé stars Sarper and Shekinah revealed what their relationship looked like at the time the Tell All Season 11 Tell All episode was filmed. Now, I will say this though, before I continue reading, there were some parts here where I've had to improvise while I'm reading because some of the description is missing some words in my opinion, because it just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, let's get into exactly what is being documented here. We got into a fight, Shekinah said. We actually, before leaving LA, I even messaged producers. I said, I don't want to be on the same flight as him. I don't want to stay in the same room. I'm not arriving with him. I don't want to sit on the couch with him at the tell-all. This is what Shekinah had to say. It continues by saying she explained that to the producers. She explained that to the producers that talked her off the ledge a little bit. Okay. They were like, okay, couch, same couch, and we please do that. What the hell? I'm pretty sure it's meant to say, okay, can we have a separate couch? But either way though, we have seen them at the tell-all. They are sitting very separately apart, and it does show the energy between their relationship right now because they can't even sit close together. You know what I mean? Which is quite awkward to watch, shall I say. Now it continues here by saying, separate hotel rooms, that's fine. You got to be on the same flight though. We can change where you're sitting, she continued. But yeah, we were going through a really rough patch. And in the beginning of our marriage, it seemed like one rough patch after another. And there were a few times Sarper moved out of the house. It's crazy because at the tell, it's mentioned that he moved out at one point. Little to us finding out, he actually moved out more than one point. He moved out several times, which is absolutely disgusting. That is not how you start a marriage, let alone even a relationship. Now it continues here, but you know what? This also says that people should not rush the 90-day process. You know, really and truly, if Sarper was able to get one visa to come to the States, he would have been able to get another one. So therefore, what I'm saying is that if in that 90-day part they were unable to make things work, it would have been better for him to go back to Turkey, figure things out to make sure if this worth it. Because realistically, they only had an opinion on their relationship based on being in Turkey and also based on long distance. They did not have a relationship based on what it would be like living in the States together, because these are two different countries with two different standards, two different religions, two different cultures, just difference in so many ways. So really and truly, Sarper should have came to the States, has a trial run to see how his relationship would be with Shekinah before committing to it. But hey, you know what they do on the show, right? They always say, well, if we don't get married now, we're gonna have to spend a few more years apart. Blah 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 blah, which is like literally the ultimate peer pressure to get married, you know, sooner rather than taking your time, you know. And this is that prime example right here, folks. Now it continues here by saying that she kicked me out of the house. Better to say, Sarper added. Yeah, so on one of them, I did tell him to leave. Shekinah agreed. But yeah, I mean, during the tell-all, we were hitting a rough patch at that time. And it was hard to go through that rough experience separately. And this is why when you get married, even when you're in a committed relationship, you're not supposed to go through a rough experience separately. You are supposed to guide and be there for each other. But these two don't even understand that. Yeah. So much for their future, right? So much for Shekinah saying that she wanted to have a relationship where she could role model a positive relationship to her daughter. Well, she has failed at being able to role model a positive relationship to her daughter. Again. Because she made it clear that every relationship that she's exposed her daughter to has been unhealthy. And she continues to do it in this one as well. And to make it worse, she even married the person that she doesn't even have a healthy relationship with. All she's taught her daughter is that if you need to rush the process, then rush the process, rather than take your time and risk it potentially not working out, which technically speaking would be a good thing, because then you know you're making the right choice. She's literally taught her daughter absolutely nothing. And it also proved the sister right as well, but the sister always said that Sarper was not the guy for her. But that was more based on Sarper being rude towards Shekinah, not necessarily due to the fact that Shekinah is also very challenging herself. In fact, we can probably sit and all agree that Shekinah has been the more problematic one in the relationship based on what we've seen. But nonetheless, though, it continues here by saying, especially at the beginning of it, because you're meeting all this conflict and adversity from other couples. And to not be at a united front, meeting that together just made it worse. Which, of course, I definitely would understand. Obviously, at the end of the day, you're there to tell, well, everybody's dishing out their opinions, and you're supposed to be there to hold each other and be there for each other. But instead, you're not. You're there as a freaking enemy. Do you know what I'm saying? Well, that is the article itself in particular. They're giving us that update. Of course, if you want to watch the actual full video itself in particular, it is provided here, folks. Okay. Now, with that being said, thank you so much for your lovely, lovely time. And I will catch you folks in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.